Good evening, good morrow, good afternoon. I am B-Train.
And I'm J-Mac.
And today, we're here to discuss with you the travels, do's and don'ts. What we're basically here to discuss with you, people, is the do's and don'ts of traveling. And first of all, the very first thing you should know how to do when you're traveling is be grateful.
Yep.
And be courteous.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is learn to shut up.
Yes.
When you're, in a conversation that you don't know anything about. And when you're traveling, it's very courteous not to talk to strangers.
Yes. Especially when you have never met them.
Yeah, and you start an opinion that really
does not really need to be said.
Exactly. In other words, what we're saying is, when you're in a random place, it would behoove you, and I know I'm using old lingo here, it would behoove you not to start something while you're in a different place with another random stranger that you could easily just hit across the face or, lean like this.
Yep.
Anyways, as I was saying, our segment today is based on something that we both experienced and had an epiphany, really.
Yep, epiphany.
Or an inspiration, rather. On...
Or enlightenment, if you want to call it that.
Exactly. On what not to do when you travel. See, the very first rule of thumb. When someone pays a certain amount of money for...
your vacation or your trip.
Exactly. You should at least have the common decency to say, Thank you.
And maybe try to pay him back.
Or you could just try and, I don't know, be gentle with them and say, oh, you owe me money. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Being gentle with someone when they owe you money for traveling is never easy. It's like you turn the other cheek. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Basically, when it comes to financial crunches with traveling, make sure that you have enough money to spend. Don't spend it all in one place.
Yep. And don't spend it on stuff that you really do not need.
That is going to clog up your suitcase.
Or clog up your arteries.
Or even clog up your brain.
Yep. Because
then you'll be stressed out with the bill when you come home. I mean, we knew somebody that went with us on a trip. Okay, and he just spent all of his money on food. Okay, instead of souvenirs that you could bring back to the family, which would have been
a lot more sense than food.
Exactly, it would have made a lot more sense if you like, let's say you're in New York or Boston or somewhere really neat in the U.S. or anywhere
I've never been to before.
Yeah, and, the person you're with is a complete narcissist and sarcastic jerk who walks around with the know-it-all attitude.
Yes. Now,
granted, this is a travels, do's, and don'ts section, but, we've decided to make it a rant as well.
Ranting / do's and don'ts.
So basically, it's like an info guide from hell.
Yeah.
Basically, basically, what we're saying is, we went on a trip, and it wasn't too long ago. It was for my birthday, and we went with one other person who's not on this cast right now.
Yep.
But we just decided to tell you. And in short, it was a disaster, to be honest with you. It was like this. Because I wanted to use physicality to express my anger
and opinions,
but seeing as how I can't really do that since his mother would probably freak out. Yeah, and I didn't want to do that to him, so I just tried to use words, and that made the situation even worse because this person believes he's always right. When you're traveling with somebody, you should at least curve your tongue because if you didn't pay for it,
you kind of don't need to act like you know it all.
Exactly. You don't need to be...
Especially when you're giving directions.
Yeah, especially if you are turning from, let's say, I don't know. J-Mac, can we show us what left... Okay, man. Alright, okay, I guess I had that coming.
Yeah.
Anyways, we don't have any sound effects quite yet. Well, not yet.
We're hoping to eventually.
Well, yeah, we'll get through there, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video was to partake in expressing to you the travels, do's, and don'ts.
Yep.
Please, reiterating this, say thank you.
And please.
And please, because if you do that, it's way down the road. Now, if you want to hit a hot spot, J-Mac, what is with your clips forwarding itself onto this segment?
They must have virus on your computer.
I guess so. But I'll fix that later. Anyways, hitting the hot spots. Make sure that you plan out your trip before you go to the place.
And make sure you have a lot of time or enough time to go to the places.
And you know what?
Try the next day.
Also, make sure that your phone or any electronic device is charged before you go on your travels.
And make sure if you have one of those battery packs that can charge your phone as well, use that if you have to.
Also, proper attire if you're on the beach. Sunglasses.
Sun lotion.
Suntan lotion.
Swimsuits.
You know, this is a lot better. I kind of like this.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah, because the light's not like blaring in my eyes, man. Anyways, just want to tell you, for those of you who are interested in the rest of travel do's and don'ts, besides electronic charging, make sure that you bring less on the trip. A laptop is fine, but make sure the size of it is small.
Or travel size, like those
netbooks.
Yeah, those would be a good size ones.
Yeah, or the traveling. You know, you can do iPads. You can also bring iPhones, Kindle Fires,
portable PlayStation or 3DS.
But here's another point we're trying to make: when you're on a trip, don't focus on the electronics,
and don't be the false. If you're visiting a friend of a family of a friend, don't ask if they have Wi-Fi at the first day you get there.
That's just rude.
Really rude.
It's disgustingly rude because, number one, you're on the trip to enjoy the sightseeing.
And not on the technology.
Exactly. And you could do without technology.
I brought my 3DS. I don't even think... The only time I've played on that was on the plane. That was the only time I've gotten on that system.
Also, make sure that if you're bringing people that actually want to be on the trip, there's another point we're reiterating. Make sure to bring those people and not the ones that are reluctant to be on the trip, because then you're going to be at home sitting like we are, venting on a video on YouTube how we feel. Because why can't we vent to that person? I'll tell you why. No matter, he's stubborn for starters, and for second, we've tried. We both have.
His head is pretty much like you feel like you want to slam your head against a brick wall repeatedly.
And I think the other thing that we like to mention is when you travel, make sure that you have enough food planned on your trip also, because food can get expensive.
Yes, very expensive. We went to one that was terrible service, but okay food.
It was okay food.
Pricey food too.
It was the Stardust Diner in New York.
Stardust
Diner in Manhattan. And that's one example of don't spend all your money on food, because then you won't have anything. Where'd you go? For example, if you go to the East Coast or West Coast or wherever, even if you go to Minnesota, and they say you weren't there, there's no pictures. And pictures is another important thing. Take a lot of pictures and make sure you have a good time. And
don't let your family think you have a dumb pictures, because technically, if they're not dumb to you, then they're not dumb. But your family thinks so, but just don't let those opinions bug you.
And also, don't be too arrogant about saying stuff that you don't know about. We keep reiterating this point again. What we mean by don't say so much that you don't know about, don't be a know-it-all, including when you're on a subway in New York or at a baseball game or on a street and then you claim to know where everything is. I have my personal experience in St. Louis, again, and you know, it's very disheartening to hear somebody relay news to their parent or loved one saying negative thoughts. And
of someone that you're friends with.
I mean, in JMac, we've dealt with this person for barely, what, 6 months now?
Yep.
And this may be a brutal rant, and he probably doesn't care.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he knows we're ranting about him anyway.
I don't think anybody cares about our channel anyways, but, you know, hold on a second. JMac, that's the second time one of our clips has made it from a past video. What is it, Transport Day?
Yeah.
I guess yours and my clip just both made it. Well, we are Those Missouri Guys, and we hope to see you for another segment for Do's and Don'ts.
And many other segments we may do later on.
Ooh. Ah. Okay, that's enough. Alrighty, catch you all later. Bye.